Hello, this is your host, Tyler Stanley, and welcome to Real Roots, the film podcast where we go back in time and discuss the movies that make movies. The Mad Max franchise didn't start out as a post-apocalypse. The first film actually serves as the pre-apocalypse to everything that comes after. After the first 3 movies, the franchise went quiet for about 40 years. In 2015, after 9 years of development hell, George Miller's ultimate vision of his infamous post-apocalyptic road warrior would finally be released. This episode is about Mad Max Fury Road.
Just bullshit right through this. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
What about slurs? What slurs are kind of...
We'll
just feel it. We'll feel it out.
Hello and welcome back to our 3rd episode of Real Roots. Today I'm joined by John Lewis.
Hello!
And today we are talking about Mad Max Fury Road. To get into the meat of it, Mad Max Fury Road is a very colorful movie, unlike other apocalyptic films like Children of Men, which isn't technically an apocalyptic film, but like a dystopian film. It's a very damp, dreary, very gross-looking movie. There's a lot of
Bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. It's very terrible.
Dumb.
We hate it.
Still, it's not a very hopeful movie. I think the fact that people see water as a commodity that should be treasured kind of diminishes any sense of hope. I think that can give, no matter what cultural standpoint you come from, I think it very easily reflects if water is this kind of hot commodity that nobody can get.
They treat water kind of like money in the same way they kind of treat vehicles
Exactly.
like that too.
Exactly.
It's kind of a Fallout
Or
type thing.
The worshipping of the V8, of course, that's just a pretty standard, engine. Things like that, things that we take for granted. It's not good scenarios. Just bad everywhere. But I feel like less of it is I mean, obviously it's about the apocalypse, but it's less so about like how the world will be saved and more personal struggles, which is different. Like it's not like they're going into this movie like we're gonna actually fix the world and save it. I didn't get that impression as much.
But it is
No,
strange.
and I think that's different. Yeah, because it's not just like, oh, the world's over, how are we gonna save it, or how are we gonna live. It kind of expects you, obviously, because there's previous iterations of Mad Max. I think it doesn't, which that's a good thing. It doesn't placate itself to those previous movies. It doesn't like try to be like, hey, remember these movies from the 80s that everybody loves and remembers? Asterix. It just says, this is us, this is our thing, and this is what we want to do. And it kind of pushes that, and it's like, look, the world's already over, the team's already lost, okay? No one's going to make it. But we can still look into the world and say, oh, this is something that's being lived into. Like, it's sort of, this is what people are born into now. This is the world, instead of trying to bring it back to what it is.
I do like how different Fury Road tries to be in that sense. Not just even with its colors and its themes trying to interlock, but it's not a very scripted movie. It has a lot of storyboards because it's a very heavy action-oriented film. And there's a lot of desert set pieces. So, I mean, framing, composition, stuff like that. Everything you know about filmmaking is kind of out the window with something like this. Because stuff like Endgame, you could also say that for that, but it's also just a Marvel movie. This uses the same kind of techniques as your normal superhero movie would, but it's not a superhero movie at all.
No, there's not like a clear, like, this is the hero and they're going to do what's right. And not even that, like, that's what all superhero movies are, because, that's obviously changed over the years. Not to get into what superhero movies are, but I think that's another expectation, I think, around for this time period, you know what I mean? Because it came out in 2015. I mean, we had some pretty big superhero movies, and I don't want to say we can put, like, Mad Max into that genre, but it was clearly like an action film, sort of an adventure film, sort of a movie that's like, okay, this is similar, once again, going back to the old films, where the hero will crush in and do something and he'll be good and the day will be saved, and it doesn't. And we had some good movies come around that time, Guardians of the Galaxy, stuff like that, some maybe not so good ones, Suicide Squad, but, they have their merit in sort of, not the anti-hero, but it just, it's not going to figure expectation of, okay, what's the hero going to do? Because that's not really, at least my interpretation of what it's about.
I do like how the protagonist, Max, it's mainly Furiosa's story. which gets
Yeah.
even more vindicated in the prequel film Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
I've
It
not seen that.
contextualized Fury Road a lot, and it really
Yeah.
amplifies it. It's a really good movie for that. But
Yeah.
Max isn't even really the hero of the story. He helps a
No.
lot, but he's like a courier. Like he's out for himself. He's very selfish. He does end up coming around and helping everyone, but
Of
this is
course.
really Furiosa's story, who's trying to save these girls and redeem herself after everything she lost and everything that basically was lost because of her.
Yeah, there's a deep sense of I think dealing with her own guilt. And I think she still uses her skills, her obviously her driving and just her general physicality. And I think it's a good story in kind of utilizing the bad to make good. Like she can't help that this is how she is, you know what I mean? Like she just can't help that this is what she's been made into. So instead of kind of throwing the towel in and saying I have to be like a pacifist or something, she says, I'm just gonna have to utilize this. This is the world we live in, and this is a world where the kind of people like me, the sort of the crazy and the violent are kind of just the best. They're good at what they do. Not saying you can't be obviously smart or yada yada, but I think the fact that she says, you know what, I'm just gonna use these skills, I think is another, I think, better standpoint. Not that it's like morally sound, but it just it goes to show that like you can use the bad to make good, which is cool.
I do like that she does use her skills to like help other people, because with those all those
Mhm.
wives and all those people
Mhm.
that can't really fight for themselves, she takes them with her because they begged her. It was a really reluctant decision on her part, but it is something she still came around to, because
Yeah,
her
of course.
her original plan was just to get back to the green place, her home, which is where she was stolen from was it Chris Evans? Was he the main villain of it was Thor, right? Because he was the main villain of
Oh, no, no, no.
Furiosa.
You're thinking Chris Hemsworth,
Chris
right?
Hem not Evans, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was the main villain of
Um,
Furiosa, and he's really good in that. He's like a
Spoiler
highlight.
alert, right?
It's not really
Make
a
sure they
spoiler. He was a really good antagonist in that. And what is the big guy's name with the mask? You're not gonna know, but
Mort Morton Joe.
a Morton Joe, yeah.
Done my research, man.
I fucking didn't apparently. They recast everyone in these movies all the time. They recasted. I keep forgetting actresses' names and stuff. So like they recasted Furiosa's actress for Furiosa.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
Valid.
which makes sense because she was a little older.
Younger.
This episode of Real Roots is sponsored by Factor. I'm always so busy during the winter, and on top of all of that, it's just too cold to want to cook meals sometimes. It's times like these where Factor can be a lifesaver. Factor is the #1 rated ready-to-eat meal kit. You'll eat well with their nutritious, flavorful, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. Factor completely removes the need to go grocery shopping and lets you sleep in during cold winter nights. Factor's fresh and never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. Head over to factor75.com/realroots for 3 free meal kits on us. That's factor75.com/realroots. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's episode.
Practical effects.
Yeah. Furiosa didn't exactly have this as much. They used a lot of like digital filmmaking, and Mad Max Fury Road also did, but Fury Road had, from what I've seen, at least around 80% practical usage in this compared to like digital effects. And that's also what sets it apart from your normal like Marvel production.
It's not the usual empty 1 million square foot green screen, which there's no shade against that, but it just makes you appreciate the craft more. I liked her arm. I don't know, is that practical or not?
I'm
It
pretty sure
looks
it's
very
practical.
good. It looks very good.
I know all the
You
vehicles are
know.
practical. One thing I do notice in Furiosa is that you can really tell when it's digital, which I've never really been
Yeah.
able to notice that in films before, but it's really noticeable in that. And it doesn't ruin it or anything. It's still a really good movie.
Just comes in a little odd.
Yeah, it just looks a little strange and it can take you
Especially
out of it a
yeah,
bit.
comparing it to this one where it's just kind of like in your face, like they're like, hey, this is a practical movie, this is how it is, or semi practical movie, or like a large effort to make this a practical movie. And obviously, stuff changes, budgets, yada yada, interests, this and that, but I get exactly what you mean.
To go back to coloring
Yeah.
real quick, I just want to talk about the Crow's Nest, which is Furiosa's old home, the Green Place, which is what she called it. And they didn't know it was the Green Place when they originally rode past it. They thought it was just this like
Yeah.
dead, barren area.
They look like the dudes from from Return to Oz. You ever seen that movie? It's this creepy little movie.
I
These
haven't.
guys on stilts and stuff. It's a creepy little movie, but check it out. Shout out to that. We'll review that one next on John and Tyler's awesome reviews.
They're told that it's the green place, and it's any other film would shoot this in a very like gray, kind of like Nosferatu looking, like Robert Eggers'
Yeah.
Nosferatu. That's probably how most people would shoot it, but it's very like it's a very vibrant blue. Like every color in
Hmm.
this film is vibrant, and I find that really interesting, and I really appreciate how much effort goes into making these colors really pop, even
Yeah, of
in like the
course.
very gross looking scenes where you're supposed to feel dread, not like high octane excitement in the car chase
Yeah,
scenes.
it no, I agree completely. I mean, even looking kind of at like the I don't know what is it called exactly, sort of a Morton Joe's like warehouse workstation carved into the mountain, where there really should be realistically little to no sun. You know what I mean? Like just this dreary. It's a rock. There's no lighting. There's no this. There's no that. It's the desert. You know what I mean? It's this really feeble, depleted area, and even in the undergrounds, I mean, there's just an incredible amount of contrast. And I think it looks like almost that there really is like natural light, but obviously, it's in the outback. You know what I mean? So that sun's on you, and I think they did a good job of making that known. And I don't know if that's a thematic thing. Maybe I'm reading into something that isn't there, but it's just sort of the implementation of like, hey, the sun's always shining, no matter how bad it is, as we see, like you said with sort of Furios's arc, is like, yeah, like no matter what's going on, what's going down, what you've previously committed in the past, whatever crimes or sins or whatever, the sun's going to keep shining. And even in these kind of dark hours, it still does.
Thank you for listening to our last episode of season 1 of Real Roots. Thank you.
Bye.
Fuck.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
I'm gonna sound you out.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you to John Lewis for joining me in this episode.
What can I say? It's been a pleasure to be here. I am over the moon. I'm doing backflips on my bed right now.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure
yeah.
having you.
I will come anytime, anywhere, man. I'm the comer. You know what I mean? I just come. So I appreciate you for letting me come.
We'll end it there. Make sure to rate or review us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm your host, Tyler Stanley, and this is Real Roots. Thank you for listening.